Yeah, we even have some callouts. Do you know the Scav co-op extract on Reserve, right?
Yeah,
There's a little red, like two-story shack there on
yeah,
the corner.
yeah.
That turned into Anne's murder house because of a crazy encounter. Anne ran in there and there's a five man, and it
Oh
just
my god, yeah,
turns into a murder house because Anne lived through it. But there's cool stories like that that kind of fit.
yeah,
Genticles named a building Harry Potter, and to still this day I still call it Harry Potter because Jen and I played way back when.
yeah,
But that was like the first thing we called it because that was, oh, the map just came out. What do we call this thing?
yeah.
She said it looked like Ron Weasley's house, so it's Harry Potter.
Welcome to Tarducks, a podcast for content creators to come on and share their experiences, stories, and advice. And today I am super excited. I have BazingaThat. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, how's it going?
Good,
Happy to be here.
thanks. Excellent. Well, I'm so glad you're able to join us. So, what I normally do on the podcast when we first get going here, I will ask a few questions, and then just random questions to get the juices flowing, and then we'll jump into it. You ready?
Oh, I'm ready. That sounds good.
All right. So, if you had a chance to fly any plane in the world, what kind of plane would you like to fly?
Oh man, the Dreamliner 787
Oh
or
boy.
a an F-35
Oh, nice.
with a vertical takeoff. That's pretty cool.
That would be crazy. I don't know. Oh man. Actually, we were just watching Top Gun the other day with my youngest, and she was like amazed that these planes, jets land and catch that cord, and she's like, "How does that happen?" And I was like, "No, I have no idea." So cool. All right, number two. If you could travel back in history for a week, what part of history would you like to go to and experience?
Um, Man, probably women's rights for when you're able to finally vote and uh yeah, voting rights and women's rights. I think that'd be really cool to see the change.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I watch a lot of old TV sometimes, and it's just the stark difference of how things are there, even like in the 80s or 70s. It's crazy
Yeah, it is
to
really
today.
crazy different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and only in a matter of 20 years, it's yeah, or actually 40 years. So I'm dating myself there. But all right, last one. Last movie you saw.
Top Gun.
Oh, new one or or the original?
Surprise. The new one, the Maverick, in
Ah,
theaters right now.
and what did you think of it?
They did a good job for a
Yeah,
sequel. I'm always a little worried on sequels. They seem to kind of normally they don't live up to the original, and so it's a
yeah.
little bit of a letdown. But I think they did a really good job. I think
Oh,
they
cool.
finished up that series really well.
Yeah, I listened to a podcast on like sort of behind the scenes stuff with movies, and the original Top Gun. They were talking about how because Tom Cruise is like 5'7" or 5'6", the way they did some of the beach shots when he was talking to his the girlfriend was basically he was up on they built a specific sand berm so he could look taller than what she was.
Yeah,
Kind of
so they could
crazy.
see eye to eye a little. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of funny. All right, so let's start off with who's Bazinga That? Where did the nickname come from?
Oh man, that came back from way back in the day with my like first Xbox account.
Yeah.
I was a really big Big Bang Theory fan at the time, and it was Bazinga's kind of means like psych or just kidding, and so it was kind of we kind of just went with that, and I don't
and it
know, I just
and it
thought of it and
stuck.
it stuck. Yeah, and so everyone
Excellent.
calls me Baz or Bazinga.
Very cool. Now, what's your background? You went after high school. What happened after high school?
Uh, After high school, I went to college and tried to figure out what to do with my life because who knows what to do.
It is
I
tough
still
at
don't even know if I
18.
know what to do. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Oh
my
man,
we.
even here at 28, I don't know.
Well, you think about it. Like we went through this with my son last year. He turned 18. He's 19 now, but he had no idea what he wanted to go to school for. And at 18, how do you make that decision? It's so tough.
Yeah, I couldn't. I actually spent a total of 6 years in college. I have
Yeah.
a associate's degree in criminal justice, and that turned out I just didn't wanna be a cop,
Yeah.
basically. I like the science behind it, the science is
Yeah.
really cool. I'm a nerd, but, I I don't wanna be a cop. I don't wanna pull
Yeah.
people over for speeding. So
Yep.
that was kind of a prerequisite, and so I changed,
Yeah.
to nothing at the time, and, then I took a random class that sounded fun called aviation technology,
Oh.
'cause, again, I'm a nerd, I like technology, it's cool,
Yeah.
I like science, and it was really cool, and it kinda was a little bit of an intro class to all the many fields in aviation and what you could do as a pilot, military, air traffic control,
Yeah.
maintenance, all kinds of things, like the whole spread of aviation.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Alright, let's give it a go." I like planes, I like traveling, and I had, like, a very small list of what I wanted for a job, right? I didn't
Yeah.
wanna be changed to a desk and do the same medial, like, spreadsheet every day.
Yeah.
Like, Excel spreadsheet, I just didn't wanna do that. One that was challenging and had to kinda think on your feet a little bit.
Right.
So, I went and did a discovery flight is what they call them. When you have an instructor who takes you up and just shows you the little plane and,
Yeah.
how things go, and I was like, I could do this." I convinced my family to co-sign on way too many student loans and, went for it, and I learned how to fly airplanes. So
Oh, wow. And you got
and
your
that's what
you
my bachelor's degree is in. Yep.
oh, very cool. And you got your I saw your ATP license certificate?
Yeah, that's a airline transport pilot certificate, yeah.
Okay. So now what have you flown since then or during school? I'm assuming Cessna is probably is what you start with or something like that.
Yeah, some smaller ones like that. Instead of Cessnas, my school particularly did the Diamonds.
Mhm.
They're a little bit more, like, they're newer, have glass cockpits with a glass
Oh,
screen,
okay.
better navigation. Most of the Cessnas will have, what they call a six-pack, where it's the old school, gauges and dials that you have to read, kinda like a you ever drove an old Ford car and the speedometer's not digital? Now
Uh-huh.
you go to your new car and it's all digital, right? So
Oh, okay.
that's kind of the swap. That's the best way to describe that.
Yeah. Oh,
Analog
okay.
to digital.
Very
So I
cool.
flew, Diamonds, they were called a Diamond DA-40,
Mhm.
which is a single engine little, it's a four-cylinder like Honda engine, it's super small.
Yeah.
And then I flew the Diamond DA-42, which is just 2 engines, that's why it's 42.
Yeah.
So they made it to a twin, up into a Piper Arrow to, teach people how to fly. That's when you get your flight instructor license.
Yeah.
So then I became a teacher for a
Oh,
little
no
bit.
way.
Yeah, that was wild. Teaching, 16, 17-year-old kids in college how to fly airplanes. It's difficult. And then I went and flew the Pilatus PC-12. That's a turboprop,
Yeah.
pretty fast. That one scoots.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a fast airplane. Um, I did that for a little bit, flying around Nebraska and Colorado, kind of a little puddle jumper
Yeah.
aircraft to get you to the big airports, such as, like, Denver International.
Yeah.
And then, uh, I flew an Embraer 175, which is a regional jet, a Brazilian jet that holds about 80 people, and that was the last
Oh,
flight I flew.
wow. Holy cow.
Yeah, it's kind of a long list, yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty neat. One of my friends, he manages basically you have the billionaires that own jets or lease these jets, and he manages one of the Gulf Streams, and he was telling me about like the maintenance costs, the service fee. It's just astronomical. What the
Oh,
amount of
it's
money
huge,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Utah, actually,
Yeah.
around Salt Lake, Utah. Mhm.
Now, when you were growing up, what did you like to ski, snowboard, backpacking, anything like that? What was your interest back then?
All of the above, yeah. Utah is very known for its outdoors. So my family is really big into skiing and
Yeah.
snowboarding, so I have since I was a kid. My dad is really big into fly fishing, and so me and my brother still continue to go to this day, even though he's kind of sit on a boat and fish anymore.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, him and I still go hiking, camping,
Yeah.
off roads, stuff. Yeah, all
That's
outdoors
awesome.
for sure is with Utah, so
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I saw some pictures actually. Rock Mom was on a vacation out in Utah somewhere recently, and the pictures look amazing. It's one of the places we want to get out to. Definitely during the winter to do some skiing at some point.
it's phenomenal skiing,
Yeah,
would recommend. You
yeah,
can't get it anywhere else.
yeah. Because out here in the Northeast, we got 4,000, 5,000 footers, and that's really the tallest peaks you get out
Yeah,
here.
your parking lot is, like, at 7,000.
Oh yeah, great. Okay.
It's pretty up there,
Yeah,
so really, really tall mountains, but it's a lot of fun, and it's stunning, it's beautiful.
yeah. Oh, excellent. So now, when did you start gaming on the Xbox or prior to that?
Prior to that, I was kinda always a little bit of a gamer,
Hmm.
and I say that when we had, like, a Sega Genesis with, like, Sonic,
Yeah,
and then, like, Game Boys with Pokemon and, that was kind of my extent of childhood gaming was,
yeah.
a lot of Game Boys. Mario, Pokemon, all the things, of the time, and then Xbox came to be, and I just never owned any of them. All my friends owned them. I'm the baby of the family, so
Oh,
everyone
okay.
owns stuff before me, the friends did. So we'd play, 64 and all those other ones whenever it's at friends' houses or something.
Yeah.
But I didn't truly own anything besides a Game Boy to be a gamer until, an Xbox 360. So
And
that was the
now,
final dive in for myself.
what are some of the games that looking back that like just you remember as some of your favorites?
Dead Space,
Yeah.
the trilogy. Such a phenomenal, scary game, but it was so good. I got so mesmerized in that game.
Oh,
Um, of course, Halo. How can you
yeah.
not?
Hmm.
And um, man, that might be it. Honestly,
Yeah.
those are the 2 that are really good, I really loved. I guess Ratchet& and Clank if you go with, like, a story game.
Yeah.
That one was really cute, I always liked it.
Now, what's your take on how Halo, the new Halo that they dropped recently in the multiplayer that came out? It was a lot of excitement at first, and has it fizzled out, or what's your take on it?
They squandered a good thing. They coulda had, Fortnite level of,
Yeah.
popularity and growth and a lot of really cool cosmetics, like, Fortnite did really well for, being, like, the free to play VR
Yeah.
and having all the cosmetics and stuff like that. Halo could have done that, and I think they squandered it.
Yeah.
So which is really unfortunate because there's a lot of people that I know that still just love Halo.
Oh,
We all grew
yes.
up on Halo, a little bit of nostalgia for all of us.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, so many people grew up on it. That was their favorite game. There was so much hype from it. It got delayed, and then finally came out, and there was a lot of excitement. Everybody was, just pumped to play it. And then it's sort of like, they were missing certain things, and it was not really, filling.
Yeah, I think that's partially they gave you a 6-month season with not a whole lot in it, you had 3 or
Yeah.
4 maps. Don't get me wrong, I do think Halo Infinite campaign was better than like, Halo 5 or Halo
Yes.
4. But in a term of multiplayer, which is what I love the most about Halo,
Yeah.
they really kinda just threw in the old modes from the other games and then kinda left it. And a 6-month season with the same modes that I played, 10 years ago,
Yeah.
probably not really up my alley anymore. I'd like a
Right.
little bit more, and they really could have done so much more, especially with it being free to play.
Yes. Yeah.
They really I think they really kinda screwed the pooch, as one
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah. Well, like you said, there's like how Fortnite have so many cosmetics that just keep people interested. Yeah, Halo could have
Yeah, and
drawn on so
events.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, they could have done a lot more, and it's really unfortunate because that's Halo's near and dear to my heart, I still love it, but,
Yeah.
yeah, they think they wasted a really good opportunity to do anything.
Now, have you watched any of the TV series that they created as well?
No, nope, I wasn't hearing a lot of good either,
Yeah.
so I, decided to just not, and Halo can stay in my happy nostalgia place, it doesn't have to be ruined by the new stuff, it's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they apparently the writers didn't even touch anything of the lore of Halo. They did their own thing, which just sort of blows my
Which is
mind.
crazy too, because I feel like there's a lot of lore that they could really get into. Again, you just kinda squandered a really
Yeah.
good opportunity, so it's unfortunate.
Yeah. So now, when did you join the PC gaming side of things?
Around 2012,
Yeah.
I would say is when I put together my first computer, yeah, and just kinda went for it.
Oh,
Again, it
cool.
was a weird endeavor. I watched some YouTube videos of people putting together computers, and some of my
Yeah,
friends said, "Oh, yeah, well, there's these cool games on PC," and I kinda was like, "Oh, I played League of Legends on a laptop." And I was like, "I guess I could, do
yeah,
a desktop and do that for Imagine League, huh, for just a desktop. It has no need for a desktop." But I was like, "Okay, I'll build a desktop, and I can continue playing League and,
yeah.
whatever." And, yeah, so around 2012, somewhere in there. Yeah.
And now, what games attracted you to, did you start first playing when started playing on the PC?
Oh, man. League of Legends and, like, some arcade games like Orcs Must Die, like, it was is nothing compared to what I play now, but it was
Yeah,
just like casual games. I was like, "That looks kinda fun." I didn't really know what to do
yeah,
with computers. I had always just been, it's Call of Duty and Halo and Xbox things, right?
right,
So it was weird trying to find something that was, up my alley.
yeah. And now, when you started to play first person shooters on a computer, how hard was it? Did you go from controller to mouse and keyboard, or did you just play the first person shooters with the controller at first?
I just went straight to mouse and keyboard, and I
Yeah.
don't think it was very rough because it wasn't, my first person shooter on PC was DayZ,
Oh, okay.
uh, the standalone, not even the mod or Arma 2.
Yeah.
So, I didn't there's nothing else like that, of course, on console, and
Right.
so I was really just learning it all anyway. So,
Yeah.
it wasn't like I had other muscle memory of, "Oh, I'm supposed to crouch with X here, and this is my
Right.
mouse."
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, so I just did, DayZ.
And now, what other first person shooters did have you enjoyed over the years on the PC?
Well, of course, Escape from Tarkov is my
Yes.
biggest one. I've spent so much time in that game.
Yeah.
I've dabbled in a little bit of CS:GO because everyone raves about it. It's a
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal shooter. That's what the FPS genre I feel like came from. Everyone played
Yeah.
CS and then moved to something else. And I'm horrible at CS, by the way. Horrible at it. People are so good. They've had
Yes.
20 years on me. I got nothing. Um, And then I got, into Valorant recently. I really do
Yeah.
enjoy that. I know it's, around the same concept as CS, but it is, really fun with the abilities and a
Mm-hmm.
team. And R6. R6 was really big, Rainbow Six Siege for
Yeah.
me. It was the f just besides DayZ and survival, you kinda wander around. It's not primarily a shooter, you just have survival aspects with shooting in it,
Yeah.
and R6 being a very it's a shooter. It's not a survival or anything like that, in a
Right.
team-based game like that. I
Yeah.
truly, really enjoyed Siege and had a lot of fun with Siege for a long time.
And it's really, you're not running and gunning like you would with Call of Duty. It is tactical. You got to play.
Yeah.
Was that be and now is that how you ended up transitioning into Tarkov, because you had a taste for that tactical slow moving shooter?
I actually think I got it from DayZ because
Okay.
uh, DayZ kinda had it has really weird gun mechanics, and some of them aren't accurate at all.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit more to the realism side instead of just, "Here's some crazy Call of Duty gun that's all souped up," that
Right.
it doesn't shoot like that in real life, right?
Yeah.
And, like, the sniping and pistols, I was really having a lot of fun with kind of the variety of, like, your kits and everything in DayZ, and my buddy actually who I played DayZ with told me, he's like, Take a look at this." And Tarkov's in, like, alpha, like, you
Yeah.
can only play if you get the EOD, there's still an NDA on it, all
Yeah.
this crazy stuff. There's only, like, a map and like, 2 maps and, like, 3 guns already, like, it's very bare bone, right?
Yeah.
And I picked that up as, like, I could see myself liking this, but of course, it was still just so early,
Yeah.
that I think DayZ actually kinda steered me towards Tarkov in a sense because it is labeled more as a survival shooter instead of
Mhm.
a shooter, even though I might play it like a shooter,
Yeah.
but I think that really stuck it in there, like, this is a fun I like the gunplay being a little bit more realistic and not so
Yeah.
arcadey.
Yeah. Cool. So now, so you've been in early with Tarkov then. So you suffered through a lot of the growing pains then.
All of the growing pains, every single one, I've been here. Yeah, every single one.
Like
Back
those
when,
impo
oh man, there's so many. When leg meta was born, leg meta
Mhm.
wasn't a thing, but,
Yeah.
the Kiver helmet at one point
Oh
was
god.
broken and you couldn't headshot people, it wouldn't ever go through, it would never
Mhm.
pen, unless you got 'em square in the face, and so that's where the leg meta came from. You're like, "Well, you have to go for the kneecaps because
Yeah.
there's no other way." especially if they had the Zabralo at the time, which was your best armor at the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I've been through all of them, and then there's one with the stutters where it locked up full auto and hope by the end of the stutter you're the one standing and not the other guy. There's so many growing pains with Tarkov, it's kinda wild.
Oh, and then and some of the impossible quests, like, where you had to kill, like, what, 20 bears on factory or something along those lines, or it's like some crazy
Oh,
quest
yeah,
back
and you
then.
had some of them had time limits.
Yes, that's
The
right.
community forgets that there was some time limit ones where you had, like, 30 minutes or an hour to kill
Yes.
a bunch of players on customs or factory or something like that or scavs. It was tough.
Oh,
It
yeah.
wa you think Tarkov's tough now, but it was really tough.
Yeah, and then
And
yeah, and
so
even when you, went into raid, you got to pick which extract or which point you're getting deployed at too, and
yeah, you could pick customs would always pick the boiler side, so everyone would just be dead off spawn, and if you spawned a big red, well, the rest of the raid's dead.
yeah,
They all died on the
absolutely.
other map, it's all free game now.
Oh, man.
That was weird when the maps and stuff mattered, well,
Mhm. So now what
yeah.
over the years, what has, you've since you were in early, what was the hardest thing to get used to with this game?
Um, that's a good question. Hard to get used to the game.
And it's different
Probably
because you have experienced so many different levels of the game as it grew. So there's probably different stages that were just more tougher than others,
yeah.
probably.
1,000% for sure. Because there was ones where, like, you're packing mags now, it would just automatically fill up the mag. It wouldn't You
Yeah,
didn't have to sit there for each bullet. Same with medding, you didn't have to sit there and wait for the bleed to stop, it would just heal up the bar, basically.
yeah,
Um, I think still probably the hardest part was, map knowledge. Map
yeah.
knowledge is always so king in Tarkov, and especially when they were doing expansions and changing things,
Mm-hmm.
which you can and can jump over. That became really difficult because map knowledge will save you in Tarkov or destroy you. There's
Yes.
one
Oh,
way or the other.
absolutely. Yeah. So
So
now over the years, what has become your favorite map?
shoreline,
Yeah.
100%, the best map.
Yeah. And then what has been some of the biggest changes that you've liked over the years?
Um, oh man, probably some of the weight change is really helpful. I know
Hmm.
me included, was really unhappy with it at the beginning because as a solo player, I wanted to carry out as much as I could,
Yeah.
and I thought with the weight system change where you can't carry out 3 people's sets of gear, it's like, well, a solo player, you're screwed. You lose
Right.
every time. Even if I win against this 3 men, I'm not gonna be able to carry out enough
Yeah.
because to sell to make my money's worth, right? The ammo, the med,
Right.
and then if you died, well, then you lose and they can hide all their buddy stuff. You never get your stuff back. So I really thought the weight system was kinda killing solo play. And I know
Yeah.
Nikita and Battlestate said they don't it's not meant to be solo. It is meant to
Yes.
have a squad, you're meant to have friends. But that final like, when it kinda polished out and worked out,
Hmm.
I really enjoy the change because if somebody does kill a friend or is heavy, I have the opportunity to catch up to him even though we're all elite strength and all elite
Right.
endurance or whatever at this point.
Yeah.
Even if we have the same skill level, I can still catch up because I'm not carrying, all this other stuff, and which turned out to be really cool and made for some interesting fights.
Yeah. Absolutely. So now, you've played for so long at this point. Is there any heart racing moments still, any pucker factors, or you're sort of just, used to the encounters at this point?
Um, a little bit of both. Sometimes there's like I can read it and it seems like it's really easy. It's like, oh, he's gonna jump in here. I'm
Yeah.
already here and he's dead. Easy clap. He doesn't get an opportunity. But then there's other ones where like even if I run into like Hodzi or Magpie if we're not playing together, it's scary. It's hard
Yeah.
fighting people who know the tricks,
Yeah.
who know jumping out the windows and stuff. It can be really hard and can really get your heart racing especially if I'm solo.
Yeah.
So it
Well,
is still there,
oh,
but there
that's
is some
good.
days where it's kinda like, "Oh, well, he's dead."
Yeah. So, and it's one of the neat things I've played for 2 years, maybe 2.5 years, is just I can still remember so many engagements because there's so many unique encounters, and that's just different that you don't get with any other game.
Yeah, we even have some callouts. There's Do you know the Scav co-op extract on Reserve, right?
Yeah.
There's a little red, like, two-story shack there on the
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah.
That turned into Anne's murder house because of a crazy encounter. Anne ran in there and there's a 5-man, and it
Oh
just
my god, yeah.
turns into a murder house because Anne lived through it. But there's cool stories like that, that kinda fit.
Yeah.
Genticles named a building Harry Potter, and to still this day, I still call it Harry Potter because Jen and I played way back when.
Yeah.
But that was, like, the first thing we called it because that was, "Oh, the map just came out. What do we call this thing?"
Yeah.
She said it looked like Ron Weasley's house, so it's Harry Potter. So,
Oh, that's
Yeah,
excellent.
there's some of those encounters that always, that you kinda just always remember some really cool moments, for sure.
Yeah. Well, and you brought up a good point about call outs. Like when you play with, no other game really has an importance of call outs like this game. Like you're playing with somebody new or you're not used to, it's like, what are they going to call this building? Or, and playing to the play styles is really crucial in games, in a game like Tarkov.
Yeah, it can be really difficult playing with, someone who you're not who isn't as familiar, especially with me at this point because I kinda just can run around and
Yeah.
I can keep tabs of them most of the time. Um, but it is hard as a newer player to probably keep track of me when I'm like, "Oh, here's this, this, this. Oh, he's here. Oh, he's dead. Oh, I'm coming back to you." And they're just like, "I'm gonna shoot anything that runs at me," you know?
Yeah.
So it is really difficult, but the hold on, I love a little bit of that challenge when you actually have a really cool, flank or, like, a pinch with you and your duo or trio.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, I'll go around," and then they have nowhere to go. Um, like, there's a lot of times we'll kinda bait stuff out. You'll throw a nade here, and the other
Yeah.
one's already there, and they go look, and it's a really cool, experience to be able to work that well and
Yeah.
cohesively as a team, and it adds another challenge to the game, which keeps it really intriguing to me, I think.
Hmm. Yeah, it's so gratifying when you, like you said, you do this maneuver, you take out a two-man, and it was like maybe a 10-minute encounter. You're, cat and dog back and forth, and you get that win. It's like, yes, it's, so
Yeah,
much fun.
especially with your teammate, and especially if you both get it, like, perfect and it just works great, like, one's got
Right.
this back, got this one, and it's just so smooth, and it's really fun to see that happen,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. And actually, you bring up a good point. Like, you plays like somebody like you who's plays a lot, high level skill against other people. Like you said, sometimes you may run into mags or somebody else who they're good, and now you've got that. Okay, you got to play your A game, or you're going to get killed. I would love to see some sort of a weekly tournament or a monthly thing where the top tier guys get together and do a couple of rounds, just so that as we who are old and slow, like myself, or the people just learning, just see how those play out. And of course, some people may not do it because of egos or whatnot. They don't want to be shown that, oh yeah, this
oh, it's
person
all
beat
in good
you.
fun.
Yeah, exactly. I think that would be so entertaining to see.
I agree. I've actually made this comment a lot to BSG and to other things of like, what would you like to see in Escape from Tarkov? I would
Yeah.
love custom lobbies.
Yeah.
There's a lot of days where it would be so helpful to teach somebody to be like, here's where you got shot from, and here I can show you how they got there and like how to clear it and look. And then
Yeah.
there's also, I kind of want to have chat come after me,
Yeah.
come try and kill me. I love it. I want it's so fun when you run into people or someone comes in the chat and says, "Oh, GG, that was really cool fight," and you go back
Yeah.
and forth. And then, like, community days, like, the Tarkov community is, I truly think one of the best on Twitch and one of the
Yeah.
best communities for a video game, in my opinion, honestly.
Yeah.
And, like, you could do community days, there's a lot of friends that do they're, been doing some server takeovers
Yeah.
and stuff, and that's where they kinda do that for some PvP and so especially this late in the wipe when the raids
Yeah.
get a little dead. But it would be so fun. I love custom games. You do it in, like, Call of Duty and Halo.
Yeah.
I would love for them to have custom lobbies. You could do it with your friends. No one really worries about the gear because
Right.
it's whatever, and I think it would be really fun and really, helpful for people to learn and, like, grow the game, I think. I would
Yeah.
enjoy it. I'd love it.
That would be cool. And then, maybe BSG doesn't want to, you know, uh, take the reins off and just give it, out to everybody, but maybe they just, a certain tier of people, or, people who are, at the, upper levels, the big streamers like yourself and other people have access to that, or get access to a private server where you can, set up those things. That would be really cool to see.
Really cool, yeah, you could do and even if it wasn't with just shooting each other, you could do, scavenger hunts and try and I
Yeah,
think it'd be really fun. You could have some really cool stuff that would be really fun for the
yeah.
community instead of just me playing, raids and hoping I find some people to play against.
Right,
So,
exactly. Yeah, because late in the wipe, it's got to be I don't say boring because Tarkov's never really boring, but it's just for viewers it may not be that exciting.
yeah, it does get really repetitive, especially later in the wipe when everyone's kinda just zooming around, and especially me where I'm kinda done looting, I'm just mainly looking for PvP because that's what keeps Tarkov so fun for me is the
Yeah,
PvP. It is a little different all the time, even if it's in the same, "Oh, by marked room."
right.
But if that fight still will play out a little different than the last one,
Yeah,
and that keeps just that little bit of like, "Oh, I'm addicted, I'll play Tarkov today."
yeah,
And if you I think it'd be really cool if they could do that 'cause this part in the wipe, it's just there's just not as many people playing, and that's fair 'cause
yeah,
I mean, it's been 6 months, but yeah, it gets a little tough sometimes when you're just like, "Man, there's no one really here." And
yeah. I know.
that's what I'm playing for at this point. We're done with tasks, you got Kappa,
Right.
hideouts done, I don't really need to loot anymore, let's be honest.
Yeah,
I'll never spend all the rubles I have, so to keep people playing or to be able to do things like that to keep some fun in it
yeah.
instead of, the cut and dry survive, shoot stuff, survive, die,
Right.
whatever, I think it would
No.
add a lot of variety and a lot of fun to the
Yeah.
community.
I agree. So now when when we had 12/12 drop at Christmas with VoIP, the sort of the um, civilian flea market and whatnot, and the inertia, what was your thoughts on when that hit?
Inertia I felt like was okay because it was pretty like, I am one of those that was jiggle peeking, running down the halls,
Yeah.
the Chad thing. But it is kinda ridiculous. I do it and I'm like, "Ah, that was kinda cheap." Like, he didn't even really get an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
And so I do like the inertia, I do like it should slow it down, should make it harder. Um, you should have, like obviously, I'm not doing that. Even if I was some crazy military trained guy, I'm probably
Yeah.
not zooming back and forth just looking to see if I can see this guy and do some crazy quick peeks.
Right.
I do like the idea of slowing it down and making it a little bit more tactical.
Yeah.
The and my only complaint with inertia is really just, again, the desync, and that still happens, but that's been around for years, so I feel like I'm used to it at this point, it happens all
Yeah.
the time. And then VoIP was I was, concerned
Hmm.
because being a female in a gaming industry,
Yeah.
first of all, any video game is r wild most of
Yep.
the time, in the nice way to put that, especially more of a hardcore game, a milsim,
Hmm.
whatever you would like to call it, and very much not just it's not Valorant. It's a very
Right.
difficult game. It's very I would like to say macho. It's a macho game. It's a guy game
Yeah.
in a sense. So I was a little concerned about VoIP. The best thing I really enjoyed about Tarkov, especially when I came from Rainbow Six Siege, is I didn't have to listen to, four guys,
Yep.
talking to my ear, yelling in my
Yeah.
ear, do all kinds of things and ruin my game basically.
Yeah.
Like they could in Siege and in Tarkov. Oh, it was just me and I don't have to listen to them, right? So I can
Right.
just play and do my thing. So I was a little worried about VoIP.
Hmm.
But I've had some really, really fun encounters. There's been some
Good.
really funny stuff, and I think overall the community and I like that they had the report button there
Hmm.
immediately
Yeah.
because I was like, man, if you don't put that in there where you're actually going to enforce it immediately, it's just going to turn into a
Oh,
cesspool. I think.
absolutely. And I was concerned too with VoIP, because I played, you go into a PUBG lobby back, a couple of years ago, and it was a cesspool. And it's like, oh
Yeah,
God, is
it's
this
horrible.
yeah, so it's like, is this what's going to happen in Tarkov? But it's really, to me, I haven't, ran into many encounters where it was, really bad or even close to being bad. I think it's probably due to the fact that I'd like to think that we're, an older crowd and mature that's playing this game.
I think that's part of it. I think that's why the Twitch community and the Tarkov community does so well in general.
Yeah.
Most of us are not young kids. We're
Yeah.
all I'm gonna probably get yelled at for saying like middle aged, but like middle working adults. Like we're all like high 20s, like
Right.
30s.
Yep.
There is, of course, don't get me wrong. There is some younger ones that
Oh
play it, but I
yes.
still think it takes a little bit more of a determination to play it, especially a game so difficult that is a time sink has a lot to learn.
Yeah.
instead of just kinda turn it on, click, shoot. Um,
Yeah.
especially and then, like, even a money investment standpoint,
Right.
right? If you did get the EOD, that is a big chunk of change
Yeah.
for a game, and then you gotta spend all that time in it, so I do think that's part of the reason why the community does so well.
Yeah.
And there has been some there's always gonna be a couple bad eggs, you always get a couple negative ones in there,
Yeah.
but the report button's there. One thing I'd love them to add is a report after, um, raid screen.
Yeah.
So, there's been some times where you're in the middle of a fight and they're screaming some stuff. I don't get the opportunity to click the report VoIP,
Yeah.
right? I would love it on the kill screen after, especially if I live,
Yeah.
to say, "Oh, this was toxic VoIP," or "He's cheating," because that
Yeah.
happens too. We've won against cheater takes out a couple of my friends.
Yeah.
They report him, and then either I die and I can report him, but if I win, I can't report it unless I go through a whole 'nother process to get there. I
Right.
would love an after raid, even though I live, I would love some report things there, but that's, like other than that, VoIP has honestly been a nice surprise and a lot of fun.
Oh, good. And now, what's your take on the civilian flea market? Because we lived through before the flea market. We had the flea market where you could there was no limits. You can buy and sell back to everybody and whatnot. How's your take on the civilian flea market?
Um, uh, honestly, I'm kind of indifferent, like, the flea market's cool,
Yeah.
um, but there was a little bit before when there wasn't a flea market, you see somebody with an attack 2 and, like, a tac tech at the time, which was one of the better armors at the time or something, you're like, "Oh, man, that's a
Yeah.
gamer. He knows what he's doing, he killed Killa and has the Killa armor." It
Right.
would be a little bit more of it's rare to see that, and it's scary to go against it because you didn't have that,
Yeah.
they don't have it, and it's rare you see people with that, and then now, there's a little bit less, I think a little bit less fun in it, but also some more fun in it because then you can buy those things, you can run those things, even if you don't have the endless amount of time to get in
Yeah.
there and get it, which is really cool, and I think that helps more people play,
Hmm.
but it does kinda add a little bit like, "Oh, here's another, like, same mutant build that I've seen like
Right.
20 times now and the same, armor setup."
Yeah.
So it loses a little bit of like, "Oh man, this guy is stacked," to, "Oh, well, yeah, he's kitted, cool," it's not as exciting to kill somebody that juiced when, in
Right.
theory, most are that big,
Yeah.
right? They can buy whatever they want.
So now, how do you roll in Tarkov? Do you mainly roll solo, or do you run with other people?
A little bit of both. I've done a lot of solo, throughout the years, probably like easily 4,000 hours or something in
God.
there of solo. So I've played a lot,
Yeah.
but I do, um, there's a lot that can be said for solo and the fact that you can live and, survive against squads and
Yeah.
do your thing. But there is a lot where it's so nice to have a duo or a trio. At some point, I gotta reload. At some point, I gotta
Yeah.
staple, some limbs back on. Um, and or you have somebody to cover you, right? I'm fighting this other person. It happens all the time.
Hmm.
You get third partied or,
Yeah.
you're fighting countless people. I actually had a raid just the other day. I was solo. I was zooming around dorms. I probably killed about 5,
Yeah.
but I couldn't get the last guy because I needed to reload and I had no time and he's already here,
Oh.
right? So instead of being and you lose that and you're like, "Man, I really should have won that," but here I am because I'm by myself. I lose that.
Yeah.
And like I was saying before, there's something to be said when you work really well with a squad. Um, there was probably one wipe where I was in a 4 stack every day,
Yeah.
and it was really fun to just see you'd kinda be in 2 teams of 2, and you'd
Yeah.
create these crazy plays. These people had no chance. They have nowhere to go. Even if they kill 1, there's still 2 more right there,
Yeah.
right? So it was really fun and something to be said about that. I like that challenge. The
Yeah.
clear comms working well together like that. Um, nowadays I play pri primarily duos a lot, especially with Anne,
Yeah.
but I do trios and quads with Ames and Mag. They're, like, my 3 probably I play with the most at this
Yeah.
point, but we mesh really well and we have really, like, similar play style,
Yeah.
and it's just always a good time. Those ladies are always fun, so
It is very entertaining when you guys all get together, and it's a
yeah,
hoot.
we're a mess. We're a good time. It gets a lot there's normally a lot of screaming and
Yeah.
guns, and it works out and, it's still a lot of fun.
That's the important thing, having fun. But, two things I want to hit on. One is, when you are solo, the worst part is when you got to try to go pick those bodies. You don't know where, that's the toughest thing I think about solos is once you've got all that loot out there, now I got to pick. And that's when, like somebody's just going to third party or some player
Yeah,
scav's going to nail you.
yep, or they're just sitting there waiting.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a rule I told the Rock Mom when I was teaching her. I was like, first to loot is always first to die,
Yep.
especially if you're by yourself. And I say that even though you're already looting a dead body. If somebody else died before you, that's fine. But if you are the first to loot the bodies, odds are you're going to be the first one to die in the next part because you say you get a nice headshot, you kill one of them,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't see his friend, but he sat there, and is waiting. Go
Yep.
touch it, dead, toast.
Yep.
Wasted,
Yep.
20 minutes. It's over.
Oh yeah.
So I just started doing a bunch of circles around. I just am like wandering or pretend to loot and not really. So if I need to move, I can move or move really quick.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's a
but
game of
yeah, it is.
patience.
It is really a game of patience. And then if you do go for it, go quick. You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
grab it,
And
click it on whatever the spam click is to just click it on you and run away. Hope.
yeah, once you start fiddling with stuff, oh, let me throw this. Is this worth? Is like you're gonna die at that point.
Yeah, you're taking too long. It's
Mm-hmm.
hard. It's really hard early wipe because everyone needs their crickets and like all these
Yeah.
other weird little items that are in bags, and your search skill is so slow.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, you just take your time and clear the area around and try and, if anything, I'll just dump my backpack somewhere, go
Yeah.
grab theirs and their gun and tag. Right, it's 2 clicks,
Mm-hmm.
and then go hide somewhere else
Yeah.
and then search the bag because it's gonna take you forever, especially early in a wipe.
Oh God, yes. Yeah. Now the other point I wanted to talk to you about is that you just said, when you're playing with fours, clear comms is so important. I don't know of any other game where you really need clear comms. If you're doing 5 man or 4 man, shit can get crazy, and just you got somebody not paying attention or just talking too much. That's you can ruin the whole game.
It really can. That's why I keep going back. It's there's something to be said when you can run a squad like really clean
Yeah.
and just efficient where you're not shooting each other and you're not and like they're still dying and you're there to like back up your buddy. That's the whole point of why you're running with the squad, back them up, right?
Yeah.
Um so it is really fun when that happens, but it can get crazy. Hell, sometimes it happens to me where I'm like, "Oh, there's Rashala here. Oh, there's a player here. I'm gonna die." Like, you start panicking a little.
Yeah.
Um but there is, you just get those clear, try and get, like, the clear, concise, and, like, just if anything, even if
Yeah.
I'm panicking, I'll have to yell, say they're in, Kiba.
Right.
Just, like, I can yell Kiba a million times, "He's Kiba, Kiba, Kiba," as I'm trying to, like, just live, right? And I'm trying to zoom around, but, sometimes it gets crazy and TKs happen, it's just kinda
Yep.
it is Tarkov, it will happen. I've
Absolutely.
murdered my friends have murdered me, we
Yep.
all panic. Tarkov's scary. If some big guy is, like, running at me with some AK,
Mm-hmm.
he's got an attack too, he's just juiced. I might try and shoot first and then ask later,
Yep.
but it could be your friend, so I do understand it gets hard, especially when you're learning.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
but when you find people that you mesh with well, your play styles do well, and, like, the call outs, like we were saying, they know, like, they'll know what I'm calling Harry Potter or Anne's Murder House or something. They're not like, "What are you saying?"
Yeah.
Um, so those will work out, and, they know what I'm talking about or, things of that nature.
Yeah.
So
All right. So normally I ask this question, and I get some really cool answers. But you've played so long, and played with so many people. I don't know if you're gonna have what kind of answer you're gonna give me. But what would be if you could pick anybody, OG people, current people now? What would be your all-star squad that you would like to run with? And you just say the name. They're part of a four or five person raid.
oh, man, it'd probably still be the ladies.
Yeah.
Oh, man, we mesh so good.
Yeah.
They've saved my life so many times over. Definitely probably, Ammunition, who I play with pretty often,
Yeah.
almost every day, especially duos. Miss Magpie. Ever since we first started playing, I think we finally realized we were perfect for each other because we threw a nade at the same exact time with no comm in the same exact place.
Oh.
Um, so, like, Mags and I fit really well together, um, and it's been really fun, watching, like, Ames learn and get better when because she just started Tarky and was learning when we first started playing with Ames,
Yeah.
and she has turned into a full Chad that is scary. Um, but I do really enjoy that squad for fours. Uh, but man, there's so many people I could sit here and tell you forever who I could sit here and make like 20 squads
Yeah.
and be like, there'd be so much fun.
Oh,
Especially like with the guys who got Deadly Slob and Clean,
yeah.
uh, Dottie Hack, some of the OGs, Sigma, of course.
Mhm.
There's so many just wonderful people in the community that have been around for since the
Yeah.
beginning of the community, right?
Yeah. Well,
That's a tough question.
that leads into the next question, or the next conversation, the community. You talked a little bit about how great of a community it is, and you've experienced different communities. So why does Tarkov's community so let me just back that up. For me, this is really the only community I've known since, jumping into this, into Tarkov was the Tarkov community. To me, it's been a great experience. Everybody I've talked to has just been fantastic and friendly, and it's a good time. But you've dabbled or you've been in other communities. Why does Tarkov seem to be so good?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe we get bullied by Tarkov enough that we're just like, "Hey, I'm sorry, man. You had a rough day. Like, how you doing?" I don't. Maybe
Yeah.
we're just all got bullied enough in Tarkov that we have no
Yeah.
reason. Everyone's just kind of like, yeah, you had a rough day too, huh?" Um, but really, I think part of it's just we're a little bit older, a little bit more mature. It is a difficult game.
Yeah.
And to stick around this long in this community, especially through the ups and downs with
Mhm.
Tarkov and the updates, and especially as a streamer or something like that,
Yeah.
it definitely weeds out kind of like the shitters in a
Yeah.
way to put it. They're good people. They have an uncanny work ethic.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable how much these people play this game or work on their content.
Yeah.
And it's just I think there's just an understanding, just adults. They're just not kids. It's
Yeah.
nice.
That is nice, absolutely. Now,
It's really nice.
the other thing that I've noticed is, a lot of I started out this podcast and I had a lot of guys on first, and every one of them talked about how many kick-ass females we have that play this game, and it doesn't seem like other communities have as many kick-ass girls in it as we do, and it's just, what's your take on it? Do you see, just more girls kicking ass over here versus in other places?
I don't know about that because there's still a bunch of friends and women that are kicking ass in all kinds of other games. R6 or
Yeah.
Dead by Daylight is really popular. Valorant's really popular with a lot of some of my lady friends.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's partially the game's hard, the community's tough, where um, it's not just you hop in and play.
Right.
You you got to sit in there, you got to learn it. So I think, it's been wonderful to see because at one point it was kinda just like Sigma, me, and God, Jen wasn't even streaming at the time. I don't know if you know
Yeah.
Genticles. So it was like there at one point there wasn't a whole lot of women in here, and I truly think, Sigma doing what she does with Evasion
Yeah.
and all the wonderful things she does with the community, and of course Jen, uh, the the OGs of the ladies of the Tarkov really, I think, are super welcoming. Also, the community just helps in general.
Yeah.
They're not hating on, women for playing games or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just really and I think that helps to keep more ladies here. They're not getting
Mhm.
bullied all the time.
That's good.
Um, but yeah, it's a tough game. They gotta learn it. It's a welcoming community, so when it is tough, yeah, but, like, we're all here.
Yeah.
And, then you have really upstanding figures of the community, Sigma's a really wonderful example. Genticles, you can't leave Jen's stream without a smile on your face, that's just
Oh,
impossible.
listening to her
There's
play
just really
the
wonderful
kazoo.
people.
Like yesterday,
Yeah.
listening, it's like, oh my god, this girl is crazy. And yeah, like you said, how can like when you leave, it's just like you just smiles on your face.
Yeah, and it's same, like, even with Magpie too. Magpie is definitely one of the bigger streamers for on the female end of Tarkov, same with Gingy. They're just really upstanding
Yeah.
humans, and they're phenomenal people, and so I think that kinda welcomes it, and it'll just keep going, I think. I think we'll
Yeah.
just keep kinda growing on that.
Yeah, and actually, just I just think in the last week, Ames, and Jen, what they just did with GCX and how much money they raised for the charity, it's just, it's so cool.
It is really cool, yeah, they're I wanna be as cool as them when I grow up, but they're just really upstanding people, and they truly do care, so
Yeah.
it's nice to see, and, I don't know. Yeah,
Well, you
they're
you
all
were a
really
part of
cool.
that
I like
crew
them.
though. You you're in that, you're just like them.
Maybe a little bit. We're
Uh,
getting there, but there's still they do a lot for the
yeah.
community, and like just me sitting there playing is not near what Sigma running evasion tournaments and getting the
Yeah.
community more in there is.
Yeah.
They're just really good people. It shows a lot of the community when you see that, I think,
Hmm.
and especially with GCX, the charity.
Yeah.
Um, it's all good to see. So
Yeah. Yeah. It is
goodness
absolutely.
attracts good people.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah. Definitely. So now, how did so you named legends in our community, Gingy and Mags and Ann. How did you end up meeting them? All through Tarkov, essentially.
Yeah, all through Tarkov. I met Sigma because she came into my stream one day and was
Yeah.
like, "Oh my word, there's another lady here." Uh, and I was like, "Yeah, what do you mean?" And she was like, "We should play." So then I met Sigma, and Sigma and I started playing, and we also met Genticles through Sigma.
Yeah.
Jen hadn't Jen didn't even stream. We just convinced her later, but she would play with us all the time, and it was really fun. We started doing ladies' nights.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I kinda had some, real life things going on with, obviously flight training takes a lot of time and a
Yeah.
lot of school, so I kinda was hit or miss a little bit, but then, when that settled down, I went and we just asked people to play. We did ladies' days with, Rock Mom, and you would get a lot of people that you've never played with, never met,
Yeah.
come hop in for a few games, um, so Rock Mom brought Magpie in, and then me, and then Ames at some point also, and that's where you just start meeting everyone.
Yeah.
Um, the
Oh,
community
cool.
really can be a family because everyone kinda just talks to each other,
Yeah.
and even after those, I asked Mags, I was like, "Hey, that was really fun. Would you like to play games?" And then here we are, you know? We
Oh,
play games with Mags all the time and,
yeah.
Ames all the time like that. It's kinda just, I don't know,
That's
"Do you wanna play?" "Yeah, I
yeah.
wanna play," and then you have friends, and it kinda just works out, so
Excellent.
it's just really
S-
cool.
Now, have you met any of them in real life at this point?
Yeah, actually, Magpie and Ames and I went snowboarding. We went and visited Magpie 'cause, she lives in Colorado,
Yeah.
um, and went snowboarding with them, that was really fun.
Oh, no
I
way.
had met Mags before that because I used to live in Colorado when I was, flying,
Yeah.
and so her and I went and grabbed lunch a couple times. I've met Anne at her meet and greets. I don't know how much that counts, but I met her and said, "Hey, I really
Yeah.
like your R6," and eventually she got into Tarkov, and I was like, "Yes, come to the dark side, Anne. You don't need R6 anymore." Um, but yeah, you just start meeting them through that. I've met Sigma through TwitchCon, Veritas through TwitchCon, Geeks, TwitchCon.
Oh,
Um,
man. That's awesome.
all the wonderful family. Yeah, then you got, Markstrom, Cotton,
Yeah.
Sequisha. You meet them all through these conventions and stuff,
Yeah.
but I had for friends and meeting in just not a TwitchCon, it's Mags and Ames for
Yeah.
sure.
So any
Yeah.
funny story you can share, from the snowboarding trip with Mags and Ames?
Uh, I don't know about a funny story. I taught Mags how to jump on a snowboard, so
Oh,
that's
no
cool.
way.
She's learning. Yeah, yeah, very cool.
Oh, excellent.
Figuring that out.
Cool.
Yeah, nothing too crazy funny though, I don't think. We're honestly pretty mellow.
Yeah. So what
A
you
lot
see
of
on
what
stream
you
is what you get.
Yeah, honestly, think of, it's just off stream, we're just all chilling in a room, bullshitting and just talking. It's nothing anything else you would see in Discord
Yeah.
except, maybe you start talking about, life things, but
Right.
no, they're all yeah, we're just chilling,
Cool.
we're just friends hanging out, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, you named a bunch of people there, and, like, I've had Markstrom, Veritas, Sigma, they're all geeks, fantastic people, just
Yeah.
really good humans, and I think that's the core of why our community is just I think it's a great place to be.
Yeah, it's good people. I don't think I've seen anyone I don't know if anyone has anything bad to say about anyone in the Turkey
Yeah.
community because it's just everyone's a family. You do your thing, I'll do my thing.
Yeah.
I really like what you did here, Veritas, your audio video, even though it was 3 hours, was so good.
Yeah.
And then you just go through all these things, and
Yeah.
it's fun to see, like, the community come from nothing, right? It
Mhm.
literally came from nothing. At one point, it was only Clean who could stream because he was a emissary
Right.
for BSG, and then they
Yeah.
start letting it out, and then you kinda just see it blow up, and you see a bunch of people come and go, but I'm really happy with Like, our core community, they're such wonderful people. I don't have any beef on any of them. I
Yeah.
feel as though I could call them and be like, "Hey, I don't wanna play solo today. Tarkov's being mad, being mean or whatever," and they'll be like, "Ah, hop in," It's just
Y
it's a little bit of a family,
yeah.
I think, truly, so
Yeah, and something else, I had when Sigma and I we're talking about how this one game made by Nikita and BSG has affected people's lives in such a positive way, whether it's the money that's raised by money raised for charities by people doing these streaming events or whatnot, or just being able to, they play this game online every day and it's their career, and it's so cool when you think about it.
yeah, it's wild. Imagine yeah, I go to airplanes to playing Tarkov for a living is quite
Yeah,
a that's wild. I don't even know how I got here, but here we are. But
yeah,
it's really cool to see, and I hope, like, the arena, teaser and some stuff they have coming up later this week.
yeah,
I hope, BSG does it right and keeps, the game strong, which means the community strong, and then because 'cause we're
yeah,
all here. I mean, we love this game, obviously, we're addicted to this pain and suffering,
yeah,
but there is the highs are really high in Tarkov and the lows are really low, but the game
yeah.
can be a lot more, I think. I think
Hmm.
they have a lot to fix, of course, and a lot to progress on, but I do
Yeah.
think they can, and it can be a very phenomenal game at the end of it.
Yeah, I
But it
agree.
still just, needs a lot of work, so
Mhm. Yeah,
we'll
you
see what
brought
they say later this week.
yeah, hopefully fingers crossed that the TV event, they'll, have some good things to say.
Yeah, I would
Now,
love to see some progress and stuff.
yes, it's we're due for something. Not in a selfish way, but hopefully we'll get something soon.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't want the BSG to kinda do a Halo thing where they just drop it here, and then here I am 6, 7 months later with nothing else, you know?
Yeah,
Give me something
absolutely.
else.
Yeah.
Keep this game going 'cause, we're here, we love the game, so
Yeah. Now
it's in
you
their hands a little.
you said from pilot to content streamer, full-time streamer. So that leads me into our final subject is how did you end up becoming a full-time streamer? What made you say, "Hey, let me stream live?"
Well, man, I don't know, that's a weird question. I just kinda streamed at the start just for fun and clips with the friends when I got the PC, we were playing
Yeah.
DayZ and all these other ones, and it was really fun, it was cool to see. And I've met some really cool people that are, that are now my mods that I've met
Yeah.
IRL, and, you really gain some friendships, that online friends turn into IRL friends, and
Mhm.
that's really cool. But I was working up until 2020, of course, we had COVID,
Yeah.
and airlines did a whole lot of nothing, which
Uh-huh.
means no money, right? I was
Yeah.
not making any money. Uh, but of course, my hobby when I was home, when I wasn't flying, was to stream and play video games. So I just did that because, well, I'm not going to work and I don't really want to go find, like, I'm not going to go find another job while I'm waiting at the time. So
Right.
I was kind of just being a bum, to be honest. So I was sitting there
Yeah.
playing video games all day, playing Tarkov all day and streaming. Um, and since we were already so I know so much of the community, we had friends to play with, and it was a really good time, and it kinda just happened. I was like, "Wow, I I maybe don't have to go back and fly an airplane.
Ex
I can pay my bills, I can still eat,"
Yeah.
I'm definitely not, like, rolling in millions of dollars, but I wouldn't be with airplanes either,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of things about being an airline pilot that were really difficult, and kinda the pandemic showed a little line of it of like, "Oh, man, if I don't have work, I don't do anything else. I just
Right.
go to work."
Yeah.
I had lost some of my hobbies and, friends and stuff outside of work because
Yeah.
when you're a pilot, you're just kinda everywhere. Uh, and so now it's really cool, that I get to be home, like, I can go have a Saturday barbecue, and I don't have
Yeah.
to plan it a month in advance around my flight schedule.
Right.
Um, so it turned out really good that way, and it kinda just happened. I was like, "Well, flying's picking back up a little bit, but I'm also, like, I'm 27 at the time."
Yeah.
And I was like, let's give it a go. Like, let's quit an airline. This has been working. I've really enjoyed doing this for the last
Yeah.
year or whatever with the pandemic and just kind of went for it. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. How could I leave an airline job? It's such a cool job. It is a cool job, but
Yeah.
there's a lot other downfalls to it that were really tough. So
Mhm. So now do you remember when you first went live streamed and your first, viewer came in or that first sub?
Yeah, actually, one of my very first ones is my mod today, Purple Dragon. It's one of the first people that came in and talked, one of the first subs, I was one of the first, like, affiliates because Twitch had just rolled that out. I was just
Yeah.
messing around. But I still streamed on my off days, and so it worked, and we were there for their requirements for affiliate. So we got that, which involved subs,
Mhm.
and so he was one of the first, if not the first, actually.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's been super cool, and he's still here today. I mean, he
Oh my
slept on
god.
my couch a few times in Colorado, like, we
That's
became really good friends, and it's really cool to see, like, he's still here, still part of the
yeah.
community. I love seeing that from, the OGs of the community as long as well with the new ones. It's always so fun.
Oh,
I like
that's
seeing the
cool.
same names over and over. Get to know what's
Yeah.
going on with their life. They tell me
Yeah.
about their day. It's good.
Yeah, it's your story is similar to others. Like Markstrom, when he was on, he talked about how his first sub was his mod, and down the road it was his best man at his wedding years later. And it's so cool to hear those stories.
Yeah, it is really cool, and like I said before, like, Max and I played once or twice, and then we're like, "Oh, you live in Colorado. I live in Colorado. Let me buy you lunch or something,"
Yeah,
or, and then at some point we're like, "Oh, well, we could go skiing," and, you turn into more than just online friends, and
yeah,
it's not all the time, but it does happen, and it is
yeah.
really cool to see and make those friendships, that way.
Cool.
I find it's really nice, so.
Now, do you remember when you first got the letter that you got Twitch partner?
Yeah, April 14th.
Oh wow, just like that, you remember. So what's
Yeah,
the
well, I
story? Or
was gonna do a
everybody
one-year
has a
thing,
story.
but
Oh,
yeah, I was gonna do a one-year, like, partner anniversary, but I was in the middle of moving at the beginning of April. That's why
okay.
it's stuck, and so I'm gonna do another, one when I went full-time, which was in June of
Mm-hmm.
last year. So I'm just gonna stack them together. That's why I know the days. I'm already planning it. But yeah, it is, April 14th. It was on stream too, which was really cool.
Oh no
I
way.
I truly never thought I'd get partnered because I was just always for fun and just whatever, I was
Yeah.
flying or doing school. Um, I did not expect to get partnered. I did not expect to quit my airline job and be a streamer. I didn't expect to actually still be doing it a year later, coming up pretty soon,
mm-hmm.
which is crazy. It's crazy to me. I don't know how it happened.
Yeah. Oh my
We're just
god.
going with the flow, and sometimes things happen, so.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it takes hard work too. It's not something you just walk into.
Yeah,
It's
I
not.
thought flying airplanes was hard, but this is a lot of work, and I wouldn't even say it's easier or more difficult than airplanes, but it's a different difficult. There's a lot to
Yeah.
it, and I'm still learning. I am learning trial by fire.
Yeah. Well, and it's more than
And there's
just
some of
playing
it that works.
games.
It's so much more than just playing games. Oh, man, if it was just playing games, hell, I could do that for 12, 15 hours a day, and it would be great.
Yeah.
I'm the next summit. Hello. But that's not how that works, and it's really hard and it's stressful.
Yeah.
And there is no That's the one thing, that I miss about aviation a little bit. There is a set way. There's a
Mhm.
manual to how everything goes. In streaming, nah. Does this
No.
work? Nope. Well, let's try this one. Does that work? Maybe. We'll try this.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
lot of just, kind of figuring it out blindly a little bit.
Yeah. And
Um
it's the other piece of it too that people don't realize is these people who are doing, full-time streamers. I had this conversation with Veritas. You guys don't get sick days. There's no, you're sick, there's no vacation days. You almost need to have
no.
something, as a safety net or something to help you when you go through some tough times.
Yeah, we all hoard our pennies.
Yeah.
So, and it even happens with Tarky too, and honestly, just mainly a pandemic and the economic wise. I'm not trying to get all politics or anything, but it is difficult out there for a lot of
Mhm.
people.
Yeah.
And technically, content creation and spending money on a stream or a streamer or somebody you enjoy is at some point could come into a play. Like I might not be able to, right?
Yeah.
Depending on your viewer's situation, which is
Yeah.
fine. That's bound to happen, but you gotta be able to kinda bounce with those punches, and
Mhm.
when they're not there and you have to have, a little nest eggs or like, "Well, that was a rough month. Let's see if this goes any better."
Yeah.
Um, and it's really hard. Oh, I save as much as I can all the time,
Yeah.
because you never know, especially in, like, the lulls with Tarkov wipes,
Mhm.
Tarky gets really low, especially now. We're 6 months into why people aren't
Yeah.
as excited to watch it, and it is hard to keep things going and to be, creative and keep entertaining and some stuff like that when it does get a little stale, it's like, "Oh, here's another, shoreline resort run with me fighting
Right.
people." It's the same thing you just watched, for the last 2 hours.
Yeah.
Um, so it is difficult like that. There's a lot of challenges.
Yeah. And do you at that point like, okay, do I switch games? But if I switch games, will my viewers follow me? And there's that mental aspect of it. Like, oh God, you got to just try to figure it out and take a chance.
Yeah, it's tough. I've been kinda dabbling with that as well because I do love shooters. I'm really good at them for some reason.
Yeah.
And I would love to, dabble more into other shooters and other variety and kinda just really play whatever you want, but of course, that doesn't work as a streamer all the time.
Right.
And Tarkov is honestly, especially because for me, I built my whole communities on Tarkov. That's basically all I've streamed
Yeah.
as a whole in a term of how much time I've streamed. So me going from Tarkov to anything else, especially if it's not a shooter, oh, good luck.
Yeah.
No, that's tough. It's hard, and it's scary. So again, where a lot of content creators kind of get frustrated at BSG because we want, keep the game alive, keep doing
Yeah.
updates, keep progressing, because then you guys do well, we do well, the game does well, everyone's happy.
Yeah.
But when you have these ones where we're sitting here waiting for an update or it's not a great update, it's tough, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's a difficult thing, and then trying to do variety is just a whole 'nother world. I don't even know, honestly. No idea.
So,
Trial by
looking,
fire.
yeah, oh, absolutely. So now looking back, what has been your, the most memorable moment since started down this path of being a content creator?
Um, oh, man, most memorable moment.
Yeah, looking back, it's like what was
Probably
a
with
highlight?
in most recent history, probably with drops this last year, I got, a ridiculous raid from Sequisha. He would also have Tarkov drops. It was like
Yeah.
20,000 people. I did not know what to do.
Oh my
There's
God.
so many people in chat, and but they were all so great and, like, wonderful, and I honestly had a really good time on Tarkov because I was doing a 24-hour, they had drops and everything,
Yeah.
and it was so fun, but
Oh, awesome.
holy cow, that's a lot. That was just so crazy. I was like, I can't even read that number. What is
Yeah.
this?" Um, but that was probably my favorite stream of all time. There's so many just new people, new
Yeah.
friends that I still see today that are still there, um and it's just
Awesome.
something else, I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's crazy thinking about even just, like, 10 people in there, you're like, "Man, that's more people than I allow in my house most of the time," you know?
Yeah. Hmm.
You have a get together, I'm gonna get, like, 4 or 5 people. Here, you got 10, and then you got 20, and then you got 50, and then, most of these days, I'm sitting around 100, I'm like, "Man, this is a lot of people." There's people just
Yeah.
sitting there watching me get destroyed in Tarkov all day by, like, some shotgun scabs. It's so mind-boggling to me, I don't know how it works. I love it, but I'm just like, "Wow, wow,
Yeah.
that's you're sitting
That's
here watching me die to a shotgun scab. Hell yeah, this is cool. It's cool."
and well,
Yeah.
that's it brings up something else. What do your parents, your family, they and your friends, do they know some, or is it like a secret life for you?
Um, it's a little bit of the secret life. I never used to tell, like, my coworkers or anything when I was flying, like,
Yeah.
that I stream. I'd say, "Oh, I play games here and there," and, they'll spot out, like, "Oh, Call of Duty," and so I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah.
Because if I mention Tarkov, most of the time people don't know it, they have no idea.
Right.
Um for my family, they don't do technology.
Yeah.
The they don't do technology. I had to show my dad how to answer a smartphone when, the swipe first
Oh my
was
God.
introduced. He didn't understand. So, I try and explain it to him, but they don't really seem to understand.
Yeah.
Uh, and it is hard for a lot of them, especially my grandparents or my dad, to think, like, you left an airline job, a stable job,
Yeah.
technically. I like how they say stable even though it was falling apart with COVID,
Right.
but
Yeah. Totally.
stable-ish job with, benefits and retirement and all that stuff to go and play video games. What are you doing? They think I'm crazy. So, it's a interesting conversation, and it's, like, kinda hard to talk to them about stuff because they might not understand, like,
Right.
trying to tell them like, "Oh, we're doing this charity stuff, and this is really cool, and, oh, we have drops, and here's this update with Tarkov," and it's over the head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Now, what?
So it's kinda we just don't really talk about it,
Yeah.
honestly.
So now, what would advice would you give somebody who is just starting out? Just firing up Twitch for this, or firing up OBS for the first time, and looking to be streaming live.
Oh, man. That's a tough one. Pick a game you love
Yeah,
and have fun with it. I know everyone says, just turn it on and have fun with it, but that's truly what I did. I
yeah,
turned it on and had fun with it. I love Tarkov through and through. Even if I have the worst day ever, I will still come back later and be like, "Man, this is a cool game and I love it."
yeah,
Find one that you're passionate about, and even on those tough days, you could still be like, "All right, I'll still play it." And find your reason why, right? If your reason why is to, become the next summit, that's pretty tough. That's putting too much pressure on yourself. Have some
yeah,
fun with it. It's video games. It's meant to be fun. That's the whole point of it. I don't know why we got so angry and so crazy with video games and like
yeah.
everyone's so mad all the time. Like just
I
play and have
know.
fun. You're supposed to be de-stressing from your other, job or whatever else you're doing in your life. You're just supposed to chill on the couch, play some Call of Duty and then go to bed, right?
Yeah,
Don't put so much pressure on yourself to be the next summer, the next landmark or whatever, just pick a game you really like and go for it. There's people there that'll love your vibe and love you and your personality. Even if you don't think they will, I promise they do. And it just kinda happens. It's just kinda there. Just enjoy it, honestly.
that's
Video games are
excellent
fun.
advice because that's like if you're playing something and you genuinely have fun with it, it will come through, and people want to see that honesty, not something fake or something that it's a
Yeah.
grind for you to do. That's not enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, well, Tarkov's a grind, don't get me
Oh
wrong, that's a
yes,
grind. But you still
absolutely.
have those really good days and those really funny moments, and it's just there's one where you can keep coming back. It doesn't feel rough to play,
Yeah.
and Tarkov can get that way some days. So if it is, play something else for a day or
Yeah.
2, or find something in Tarkov to kinda laugh about. Like, I'll do meme runs, I'll do some shotgun runs and pistol runs. Because if I
Yeah.
win with those, I'm like, "Well, that worked, that was funny." Imagine I'm all kitted and I die all day to shotguns and then you mix it up and start having a little bit more fun with it and getting a little crazy and it works.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
yeah, just have some fun with it.
Now, do you want to give a shout out to any of your sponsors while you're here?
Yeah, I mean, when Tarkov audio works, the 64 audio IEMs are so good. Oh man, I know exactly where they are. I swear I can hear their heartbeat. Um, the 64 audio IEMs I really have is phenomenal. Holy cow. I can hear everything
Yeah.
when Tarkov plays the audio, but that's a whole 'nother story we get into.
Mm-hmm.
And then Goodies Granola, I, like snacks, and, uh, as a gamer, I'm a as a gamer and a pilot, we sit a lot. I try and be healthy best I can. I know we all eat junk, we all have
Yes.
energy drinks, we all stay up too much, don't get enough exercise, but, I really do like Goodies Granola too. Was also sponsored with, for a snack because it's not junk, it's
Yeah.
not filled with stuff I can't pronounce.
No.
It's just a little, so it's a decent snack that still tastes really good. They got, like, blueberry vanilla and, like, some cranberry orange. There's, like, a toasted coconut one. They're really good and it says cookie in the bag, but I like them a lot. It's just granola with the yogurt or something.
Yeah.
So,
What's your favorite one?
the orange and cranberry, it's a little Christmassy,
Yeah.
because orange and cranberry, but,
Yeah.
like, it's just I love cranberries and orange is just as good too. So,
Cool. Yeah, the whole IEM thing, there's everybody's running them these days, it seems. And I've tried them, and it's like you're right. It does make a huge difference.
I can hear everything. When I actually get the audio cue from Tarky when it's not doing its weird thing, I hear somebody shuffle in a bush next to me. Oh, I hear it so fast.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I'm just like, "Wow, how did I hear that guy?" Or, like, I can pinpoint where they're going because the wonderful thing of map knowledge, right? You'll hear somebody
Mm-hmm.
step on glass and you're like, "Oh, I know where they are." And so I can
Yeah.
sit here and call it out for my friend. I was like, "Oh, they're above me. They're on glass here at the stairs pushing you now." And then they're like, "Oh, they're dead." I'm like, "Okay." And there you go. So the audio is actually just so crazy.
Yeah.
I love them. They're
Oh,
wonderful.
cool. Now, who's do you want to shout out any content creators that people should go check out?
Oh, man. Probably everyone I mentioned. I mean,
There we
God, there's
go.
so many. You got Ames, you got N, you got Miss Magpie. Uh, I'm personally a huge Deadly Slob fan. I love them. He's so funny. It's just comical, and he just has a good time with it from the DayZ days. Deadly
Yeah.
Slaw's probably one of my favorites, probably one of my biggest inspirations to
Yeah.
stream and to play Tarkov was, Deadly Slaw.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and
Deadly's
then
pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah, Deadly Slaw's one of my favorites. He's my oldest sub on Twitch. I'm
Oh, no
so
way.
upset. Yeah, so Deadly's a really big inspiration for me. Same with Ann. I watched Ann play R6
Yeah.
through all that before I was really into Tarkov, and that I really like how they both handle their streams and carry themselves and just have a good time and really
Yeah.
like understand their community and just have a really really good community. It's really nice.
Oh, cool.
So
Yeah, we had Deadly on my other podcast, and he is, he was one of the OGs, and just like you said, how he handles himself, it's the business, and just a really good guy. And also to mention, he's also Canadian, which is also a plus.
yeah, yeah, he's just a really good guy, and I don't know, they're just
Yeah,
them, and I love that the most about them. They are them, and they have found a way to make it into a community, and
yeah,
it's just really cool. So
yeah,
those 2 are probably my favorites, my go-tos,
yeah.
inspirations, whatever, you would like to call that. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, you survived. Hopefully, it wasn't too painful for you to be on your first podcast.
No, yeah, it was great. I'm still kinda nervous, but it's fine.
Yeah. Now, before you go though, at the end of every podcast, I have my guest call out somebody who should come on should come on and be a guest on Tarducks down the road. Who would you like to throw under the bus or call out?
Oh, Magpie. Have you interviewed Magpie
Well,
yet?
Ames called out Magpie already, so I know she's in the middle of moving.
Wow!
So yes.
Okay, maybe Blitzer.
All right, there we go. So Blitzer,
Blitzer
you've been
girl,
called out.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She's a gem too, I like her.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Excellent. All right. Well, hey, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it, and I loved everything you shared tonight. It was great. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm sorry we were struggling on the scheduling, but that was really great, honestly. Thanks for
Excellent.
working around, schedules with me. That's
Not a
great.
problem.
Hey, she's a beauty.